Hello, Facebook family. Come in and join us. It is Tuesday, and I am super excited to be here with you guys. So I'm just gonna let you guys filter in. As you come in, please tell me where you are. Let me know where you are coming from today. Super excited to be here with you guys. I think God's got really something cool for us for May. So this is our first Tuesday in May, and I am super excited to be here. My name is Gretchen, and I am in Morristown, Tennessee, which is about 45 minutes east of Knoxville, and I am from Platoon 22. So as I said, as you guys are coming in, just let me know where you are. Let me know if I have any fellow Tennessee peeps here. And I just want to talk to you guys today about kicking off our theme for the month. So our Rev theme for the month is find your people, love your people. Find your people, love your people. We say that a lot around here, around Rev. And I know that probably stirs up some emotions in people because I know that we've all been hurt and we've all been wounded and we want to put up these walls and these barriers. But God calls us to something more. God calls us to love. And so that's what we're going to focus on this month of May. Again, as you guys come in, hey Kim, Tiffany. So as you guys come in, let me know where you are, say hi, all of those good things. Before we get going into the word that God has for you guys, I want to talk to you about reconnect. So this is a great way to even get started on loving your people. We need to love the people that are in our household. And so Reconnect is our marriage conference. Now, the cool thing, hey Christina, the cool thing about this Reconnect marriage conference is you don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to. And you can do it whenever you want to. Minnesota's represented, Ohio. So here's the cool thing. A way that you can reconnect with your spouse or your soon-to-be spouse is to go and download and sign up for our Reconnect marriage conference. You will get 3 days of content that will be yours till August 21st. So you can do it whenever you want to do it. You guys can rent a place and go away and unplug for the weekend, get the kids taken care of, and do this marriage content. You could break it up. You could do one day, one weekend, take a date night the next weekend, and do the second day, however you want to. The content is yours, and it is available to you through August 21st. It is amazing content. The people that partnered with Elisa on this, if you listen to her speak, will say that they are influential in helping save her marriage. So the link is right there in the comments. So go sign up for that. It's a great way to kick off Find Your People, Love Your People. Find your spouse and love them, right? Okay, so find your people, love your people. Don't really wanna, do you? What do you think of when I say find your people? Who's your people? Who are your people? And I think a lot of times when we say, who's your people, you automatically go to those in your household, those that are closest to you, your family. And yes, they are your people. And yes, you need to love them. All of them. You might not like them, but we need to love them. Outside of that, then we start going to maybe our extended family, okay, those ones that don't live with us, but we still have to claim them as family. We need to love them. And then we probably go to coworkers, those people that we come in contact with on a daily basis. And outside of that, then it might start to get uncomfortable. And so when it says find your people, that we need to be in tune with our Heavenly Father, to ask Him, who's our people? Who is He calling us to love on? The love part, I think a lot of times we as believers, we get that. We know that we're called to love. In John 15, 12, and 13, Jesus Himself says, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has none than this, to lay down His life for one's friend. So Jesus tells us, you gotta love. You've got to love as I have loved. You have to love as I have loved. Mark 12, 28 through 31, Jesus is teaching, and one of the other teachers that is listening to him starts questioning him. And he says, all right, Jesus, of all the commandments, all right, which one's most important? Tell me which one's most important so I can focus on that. We want that to-do list. So tell me which one's most important. And this is what Jesus says. He says, the most important one is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul and with all of your mind and with all of your strength. So first and foremost, we have to love God. Second, love your neighbors yourself. That's the one. I think we're like, okay, I can work on loving God. That's fine. I can do that. Love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So love God and love your neighbor. Hello, Botswana. We are glad you are here. Love God, love your neighbor. So again, I think as believers, we're like, okay, love God, first commandment, that's what I need to do. And I love, if you guys didn't watch Amia Freeman's talk yesterday, go back and watch that. She's one of your coaches for the month of May. And I love where she said, because we have been in the presence of God, we want to keep his commandments. It's not out of obligation, but out of love. And so we want to give it away. And so again, that's back to, if we love him, if we are in his presence, we're going to want to love others. It's that overflow that we talk about. It's that outpouring. Because we have loved him, we've gotten into his presence, we want to do number two. It's not a pull your bootstraps up, I have to do this because the word says so. It's because we've done the first one and we've loved God and we've been in his presence that then we're like, I've got to go tell others about this. I have got to go spread this good news. It's because we've been in his presence. So we're called to love others. Okay. Called to love others. Who am I going to love? Who are your people? Again, yes, family, they are your people. They are. And we need to love them first. They need to get our best. The ones that we come under the same roof with at night need to get our best. And I want you to think about that for a second. When you go home at night, those people that you walk in the door and look at, are they getting your best? Or are they getting the fumes that are left in your tank? And I know some of you might feel a gut check on that. Because if you're like me, you love to go and you love to do. And you are a get it done girl. And if you give me a task, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. But the problem is sometimes is that I pour everything out into that throughout the day. And I walk in the door and I'm done. So have I given my best to the people that deserve it? So that's my first question to you. Yes, we need to love them. We need to love them well. And sometimes they're hard to love, but we still need to love them well. So that immediate circle. And then you're going to probably put in, the rest of your family that's close but might not live with you. That might be siblings. That might be your parents. That might be cousins. Are you loving them well? I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have someone in your family who's not saved? And I guarantee you, probably everybody that's watching this right now can think of someone. Are you pouring as much into them as you are your community, as you are your church, as you are your coworkers? Are they seeing you serve everybody else and not pouring into them? And I'm going to tell you, that checks me myself. That checks me myself. I have a family member who's not saved. And as I was preparing this and I asked myself that question, I am 100% guilty of pouring more into this. I am standing in my faith-based fitness studio in Morristown, Tennessee, and I pour more into this than I pour into my family member who's not saved. And so God checked me on that today. And so I ask you, what are you doing for that person in your circle, your immediate circle that's not saved? And if they see you pouring more out to others than you are to them, we need to check ourselves on that. And so I think we as a society, even before COVID, but definitely after COVID, we want to stay in our bubble, right? A lot of us like our bubble. I have a bubble. I like my bubble. I think COVID has made our bubble a lot smaller, and I think COVID has made our bubble a lot stronger. And people don't get in as easy, and we don't want people in. COVID has caused isolation, COVID has caused depression, and COVID has caused us to shrink in. And right now is the time that our world needs us to go out, needs us to extend out. I don't know when Jesus is coming back. I don't know. But I know that we need to be fighting every day to love people as he has. And so, I need to ask you to get out of your bubble some. We have a saying around Rev, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. And a lot of us are like, nope, not gonna do that. But God calls us to it. And we need to start getting uncomfortable. We need to open our bubble up some. We need to step out some. In Revelation Wellness, we have ambassadors. And ambassadors are those that have gone through instructor training. They have gotten financial support to go through instructor training because they have been called to work with the marginalized, the overlooked, the hard places. And that comes from them being in the presence. The Lord has spoke to them. The Lord has called them to this ministry or to this area, to those places that are overlooked, that are hard. And so because they've come into his presence, they know who their people are. And so I ask you, who are those people that are outside that immediate circle for you? And I'm not saying that you have to go to the hard streets of Miami like Nadia. I'm not saying that you have to go to the plains of Africa like Sarah Witt. I'm just saying, can you get out of your bubble? Can you take a challenge to open your bubble up some, to love on others? And again, it's that getting in his presence, to know who he's calling you to. There's, again, COVID, right? There's a statistic that we now are struggling with depression 32% more than pre-COVID. 32% more people are now depressed before or after COVID. 1 in 3 people are struggling with depression. You guys, the world needs us. The world needs us to be his hands and feet. They don't need Gretchen. They don't need Amia. They don't need Elisa. They need God working through Gretchen. They need God working through Amia. They need God working through Elisa. They need to see his love through our hands and through our feet. Are we doing that? Are we in his presence and overflowing? It can't come from us. Someone last week had sent me a message after a Zoom call and was like, Gretchen, you are awesome. And I was like, no, actually, I'm really not. I'm a hot mess that for some reason, God's just decided to use. And that is the honest truth. I am a hot mess. I am a hot mess. But God's decided to use this hot mess. So are there people in your backyard that you might be missing? because you've got this bubble. You've got this protection. And it can be from whatever. It can be because you've shrunk in from COVID. It can be because you've been really hurt and you've been really wounded and you have trauma. But you know what? God wants to use that trauma. God wants to use that trauma for you to love on someone else. There's someone that needs you that is going through the same thing that you went through. There's someone that needs you that can look you in your face and say, I really do understand. Not just I get it, but I understand. There's someone that needs you. So we're going to sit in Romans 12, 9 through 21 for a little bit. And I'm going to go to my actual Bible because whenever I can, I like to pick up a hard copy. Sometimes it's easier for teachings and things like that to have it written in your notes. But I want to actually read from the word today. And so I said, we're going to be in 12, 9 through 21. And I'm going to pull some things out. We could stay in here for the next at least 12 Tuesdays if we wanted to. So I'm going to pull some things out. The first part, I love the title. Love in action. Love in action. Romans 12, 9 starts. Love in action. We got to put it in action, guys. Okay, so love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another. Devoted means very loving or loyal. So be devoted to one another. Be very loving and loyal to one another. Honor one another above yourselves. Honor means high respect or great esteem. Honor one another above yourself. Like, really sit with that for a minute. Think of those people that you have a real hard time thinking of honoring above yourself. We are a selfish generation right now. I'm just going to call it what it is. We are a selfish generation right now. And so you kind of read over that. You might just read, honor them. It doesn't just say honor them. It says honor them above yourself. Verse 11, never be lacking in zeal. So I was like, okay, let me look zeal up to make sure I have a full understanding of that. Great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a great cause. What better cause than to love like Jesus or an object? Great energy or enthusiasm. Are you loving with energy or enthusiasm? Because if you're not coming from that place of overflow. If you don't have the zeal, I like that word, zeal. If you're just pulling your bootstraps up to get it done because it's what it says and it's what you're supposed to do for the day, and you lose that zeal, that great energy or enthusiasm, you're not coming from overflow. You're running on some fumes. You're running on an empty gas tank. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor. Keep your spiritual fervor. Serving the Lord. Here we go. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need and practice hospitality. We're going to sit there for a minute. Share with those who are in need. And when I say that, can you immediately think of someone in your community who's in need? And I want to share a little story with you. And this is not at all to brag on me. So please hear me when I say this. This is to brag on the Lord and how if I did not act in obedience, I would have missed my person for the day. Okay? That's where this is coming from. That's what this is all about. Are you missing your people? And if I am not in tune with him and I don't step when he asks me to step, I'm going to miss my people. So I was having a rough morning one morning, and I was not in the frame of mind to teach one of my classes. And so I asked my partner to step up and to teach the class, and I needed to go for a walk. And I've been in this facility for a year now, and I've never walked from this place. But I'm familiar with the area because I used to run the area all the time. So I headed up to a road that we walkers and runners use a lot here. And the area's changed some, and so when I used to run a lot, I had this circle that I would make, but now because of construction, the route's a little bit different. And so I was walking and I was praying and I was Honestly, I was asking the Lord which direction he wanted me to go. And that might sound silly, but I was debating on just doing an up and back, or if I was going to make this loop. But making this loop put me on this back country road, which, as I said, I used to run a lot, but I was familiar with it before, and I knew if there were dogs or not. If you're a walker or a runner, you know we got to be aware of the dogs, especially the little ankle biters, right? Like, they'll get you every time. And so I was a little anxious being by myself on this back road, and there might be dogs, and it, you know, if you're a walker or a runner, you just know you don't want to approach a dog that you don't know. And so I was praying about which direction I should go as I was hashing through everything else that morning. And I was inclined to just go up and back, stay on the main road, not mess with the dogs. And I heard him say, no, I need you to make the circle. I need you to come down that back road. And so I did. And I didn't find any dogs. Thank you, Lord. But as I was coming up, it brings me on the backside of this Walmart. And there's a place where sometimes a homeless person will sit with a sign, you know, asking for anything, food, money, whatever. And we don't have a lot of that here in this community, but I have seen people there some. And so I'm coming up this hill to this spot where said person might normally sit. And there's a lady sitting there. And I'm on a back road. There's nothing else but me and now this lady sitting in this chair with a sign that I honestly don't even know what it said, but obviously asking for money or food or whatever. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't just pass by this woman. I have nothing on me. I have no food. I have no money. I have my phone that has my debit card in the back, but I have no cash. And I'm like, what am I going to say? Hey, sorry about your hard time. Like, what am I going to do? And he was like, you're going to pray with her. And I was like, oh, am I? Okay, so I have the butterflies. And as I said, even as long as I've been walking this out, I still have these moments of hesitation. And I was like, okay. So I walk over to the lady and I said, ma'am, you know, may I pray for you? And she said, yes, I would like that. And I said, you know, can I ask your name? And she gave me her name. And so I start praying. And I don't know if she felt the pause. It felt like a while for me. I was like, what do I pray for a homeless person? Like, what do I pray for this lady? And I was just like, God, you got to help me. And so he just gave me the words that she is known and that she is seen and that God is with her. And I prayed, and he gave this to me, you guys, because I, for a moment, was totally stumped. To pray for the daily manna, that she just needed her daily manna that day, and that the Lord would provide it. And then tomorrow, that she would get up and pray for that daily manna, and that she not worry about what next week looks like, but that God was with her, and he saw her sitting right there, and he was going to provide her daily manna for the day. And by the time I got done, there were tears streaming down her face, and she said, thank you so much. And so my thinking was, okay, well, I'll go back to the gym and I'll get my car and I'll go back to Walmart and get some money and some food or whatever. And God was like, no, ask her what she needs right now. So I did. I said, what do you need? Like, what do you need? And she said, honestly, I need a tent, and I need a sleeping bag, and I need an air mattress. She said, the campsites are getting ready to open up. I live in my van down there, and she pointed to a van, and she said, I need camping stuff so that I can get set up in a campsite. And I asked her a little more. Her husband had just passed away a couple months ago from COVID. They had been homeless together, and now she was homeless by herself. And just listened to her story. And again, I was like, okay, well, I'll go get my car and I'll come back and I'll go get a couple things and I'll bring it back for her. And God's like, Gretchen, your debit card's in your pocket. Walk to Walmart, which is right down that hill, put the stuff in the buggy and put it in her van. And I did. I went into Walmart, I got a tent, I got a sleeping bag, I got an air mattress, I took it out, I threw her some peanut butter crackers in and some Nutri-Grain bars and some things, and I walk over to her van that she had pointed to, and I said, is it unlocked? And she said, yeah, and I threw the stuff in the van, and I said, you have a tent and an air mattress and a sleeping bag now. And again, I don't say that because I went into Walmart and bought those things. God provided that, because my finances is a whole story that I could tell you another day about God. That was God, because it's just my finances are a whole other story. That was God. I my point to this story is A, had I not walked, and B, had I not asked him where to walk, I would have missed my person for the day. Because had I gone the out and back, I would have not seen her. She was in a spot that I would have never passed her if I had not come down the back country road that I was afraid of dogs on. So I say that when you get whatever it is and how he speaks to you, the tinglies, the butterflies, the goosebumps, the whatever, step, or you're gonna miss your people. So who are those people in need? And I'm not saying it has to be a homeless person. It might be your next door neighbor who's just lost a spouse and just needs you to come over and sit with them for an evening and have a cup of coffee. Who are those people in need that when I say that, they come to your mind? That you need to step out in obedience. Okay. We're going to keep going just a little bit. We're going to finish this up. Bless those who persecute you. Bless, do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Bless those who persecute you. I'm going to let somebody else take that whole one. That's a whole nother thing. We're not going there today. Okay, that's a whole nother sermon that we'll talk about on another time, or somebody else can grab that one for the month. Because blessing those who persecute you, that's going to take a little bit to unpack, because that takes a whole nother level of step in and a whole nother level of trust in. But it's in here and we got to work on it. Okay, another day. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people in low positions. Do not be conceited. You guys, we are all equal and the same in God's eyes. That lady is no less than me. The President of the United States is no better than me in any standing. In God's eyes, we are all the same. We are all children of the one true God who sometimes find ourselves in hard places, maybe by our own actions, but those are already forgiven too. And so we all deserve a chance. And so who are those people in need, in the low places that you need to love on? And as I say that, you might even be getting that little stirring of you know who it is, and you even know what you need to do. So, I want to share, Amia just killed it yesterday. I was like writing everything down from Amia's thing. So if you didn't see Amia's thing yesterday, please go watch that. But another thing that she said, this is not an invitation to obsess finding the people or obsess loving the people. All right. So this is not an invitation to obsess finding the people or to obsess loving the people. This is an invitation to get right. And this is not, sorry, I'm about to mess it up. This is not an invitation to get right before you go love the people. What if in the processing of getting well, you were able to help others? This is an invitation to extend the love that the Father has shown you. You guys, we don't have to get ourselves figured out before we go out to love. This is not, again, like she said, this is not an invitation to obsess. When I'm saying, who are your people, please don't take that as, oh my gosh, I've got to sit down and write this out right now. That's not what this is about. This is about you being in his presence, like we said from the very beginning, of being in his presence to know who he's asking you to go love, who he's calling you to step out to. That's where it comes from. But again, you don't have to, I'm a hot mess. I am a hot mess. If I could tell you guys my last week, you'd probably be like, you're standing up there teaching right now. I am, because I'm a hot mess that God's decided to use. And I have a story and a testimony. And some of you, at least in the instructor community, know my story. I went through a really hard divorce in 2020. And I really felt that my calling was to walk alongside other ladies, especially through infidelity, because that was the cause of my divorce. And that's where I felt my heart. That's why I opened a women's based only Rev fitness studio, because I felt called to love on women. But what God has done in me lately, and it didn't really hit me until yesterday, crazy timing, right, for this, that he's also given me this ability to connect with teenagers. And that is something that I never thought I was going to do, never wanted to think about, never thought that that was even anywhere on my radar. And he has slowly dropped these teens in my lap to come alongside. And they actually listen to me, and they actually want to hang out with me, which is just crazy. They'll get up at 6 o'clock on Monday morning to come have coffee with me. Teenagers. And I didn't really see it until yesterday. And this was not the story that I had originally intended to put in here. There was another one. But God showed me yesterday that this is again one that I need to share. Because had I not stepped in obedience, had I not been in tune with him, had I not been listening to him and then stepped, I would have missed something really cool yesterday. So the Lord has blessed me. As I said, I went through a divorce in 2020. The Lord has blessed me these last several months with an amazing man. An amazing man. That we are walking out a new relationship, a new creation, a new season together. And he has a son. He has a 16-year-old son. I have a 17-year-old son. He has a 16-year-old son. And his 16-year-old son is struggling with what so many teens of ours are struggling with suicidal thoughts, with cutting. And yes, I'm saying it on Facebook Live because the church and the community is not talking about it enough. Our teens are struggling with suicidal thoughts. Our teens are struggling with hurting themselves. Our teens are struggling with their identity. Our teens are struggling. And our teens need us too. And again, I was like, that's not me. That is somebody else's calling. Someone else has got that one. I'm going to love on these ladies. And so yesterday, Ty's son was having a hard day. And I had stepped away to go to the park to try to work on my Facebook Live for today. I needed to get myself organized. I needed to get myself pulled together. I needed to make sure I knew where I was going and all of those kind of things. And so I had gone to the park. And Ty called and he said, "You're not at the house." And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, Tristan's really struggling." And I said, "What do you want me to do?" And he was like, "Well, I told him to go talk to you, but you're not there." And I said, "Do you want me to go back home?" And he said, "Yes, please." And I'm going to tell you, my first thought was, but I got to do this. But I gotta do my stuff. I've got this tomorrow. This is my first time doing the live on the main page, right? Like I've got to get myself pulled together. I got to know what I'm talking about. And I heard God say, you got to go. You got to go home. And I'm driving home. And this is the first amount of time that I've really spent with this teenager. And now I'm going to roll up in there while he's having a bad day and be like, "Hey, tell me all your things." And I'm going home and I'm praying. I'm like, "God, you're going to have to guide and direct this because I don't know where this is going." And it's a guy. Like I can handle like the teenage girls, but this is a dude. And I know I have one, but I still don't even know what to do with mine. My 17-year-old dude. I don't know what to do with the dudes, right? And I walk in and I'm like, "Hey, bud, like what's going on?" And he was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't know what to do. Like he doesn't want to go through the process of what that takes, but he doesn't want to be here anymore. He hates himself. He's searching. And I listened. You guys, I just listened and I let him talk. And then I told him how much the creator of the universe loves him. That the creator of the universe thought of him, had a plan for him and a purpose for him before his mom and his dad ever even thought of him. That he is loved, that he is known, that he is seen, that he is chosen. And you could see with each word I said the impact that was having on that child. And again, yeah, I'm a little thrown off because, with the girls, I'm like, "You're beautiful," and, all the girly things. And even saying like seen and chosen to a guy, I'm like, is he receiving this? And you guys, he was receiving it. And so we talked more and he was like, I just kind of feel like you have to like get your life together completely or you're going to hell. And he was like, essentially he was saying he feels like it's such a big jump to go from not walking with the Lord to completely all in. And I was like, I get that. Like mine was a journey and a process. Like I came to the Lord, I stepped back, I turned my back on the Lord. I came back and I thought I was walking with him and I was living right. But then I found this whole other level of relationship. And now I'm to that place where I am so in love with the Lord. And I know he is with me that I have no choice but to go say that to others. But that journey was from age 11 to age 38, y'all. Like, that's the time frame of that journey. He's 17. He's got a journey he's got to go on. And I was able to speak into that. And just for time purposes, he said, I'll never forget, he said, do I just talk to him? And at first I had to say, are you talking about your dad or are you talking about God? And he said, God. And I said, yes, you just talk to him all day, every day. Just talk to him. And I said, he's big enough to bear on his shoulders. He is strong enough to bear on his shoulders, even the hurt and the anger and the frustration that you have at him. And he said, I just wish he would talk to me. And I said, that's where you have to learn to get still and to get quiet. Okay, so Red-Based Fitness Studio, I do Be Still Be Loved all the time with women. I have only ever done it with one other guy. And even then I fought God on that one hard. That's a whole nother story. I ended up doing it powerful and amazing. And God's like, you need to take him through an imagery of Be Still and Be Loved. He needs to come to an encounter with me. And I was like, God, like, again, it's a dude. I struggle with that. I mean, my ladies, I have them dance with Jesus. I don't think guys really want to dance with Jesus. And I'm like, Lord, come on. Like, this is a guy, you know, I'm not comfortable with this. And it's a 16-year-old. Like, come on. And he said, Gretchen, step, be obedient. So I said, do you trust me? And he said, yeah. And I said, get comfortable. And I turned on some instrumental music, and I took him through an imagery, Be Still and Be Loved, where he created his safe place, where he was safe and he was peaceful, and then he invited the Lord in, and the Lord spoke to him. Now, is everything roses and peaches today? No, it's not. But did I check in on him today and he said that he was having a pretty good day? Yeah. And that's better than the last 6 weeks have been. But I say that because had I been selfish and thought that I needed to stay at that park to work on my talk with you guys today, I would have missed that moment. Had I not been obedient to do the Be Still and Be Loved with him, he would have missed the moment of being face to face with his heavenly Father. And I don't know, I didn't ask him. That was between him and the Lord on how that went. But if I would not have been obedient, all of those moments would have been missed. I knew coming into today that the Lord was going to speak. I knew I didn't have to have it all together, but it's that flesh that wants to take over sometimes. And that's where our battle is, you guys. Being in his presence, hearing from him. We have to hear from him first, and then we have to step. And if you don't listen and then step, you're going to miss your people. I want to finish with John 13, 34 and 35. This is how I'm going to leave you guys. A new command I give to you. Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. So my question is do you want to be known as one of his disciples? Would that not be the best title ever? What do? I'm a disciple for Jesus. I'm a disciple for Jesus. Name tag, disciple for Jesus. But you only get to wear that name tag if you love others as he has loved you. That's how people will know. Is because you have been in his presence, you have met with him, and you are so full with his love that it has to go out. So, love God, love others, go and be his disciple. I pray that you guys have an amazing month. Let me pray you out. Lord, just as we are kicking off May, find your people, love your people. Lord, I ask that this can be a season that we don't jump up and run out, that we don't jump up and look out, that we first look to you, that we love you first, and then we ask, Lord, where do you want me to go? And then we step in obedience. Father, I ask that you bring us the people that you want us to love on. Show us that we are called, that we are equipped. Give us the words, give us the actions, because it cannot come from us, Father. It can only come from you. If it doesn't come from overflow, it's not going to be good. So may we sit in your presence, may we listen to you, and then may we step in obedience, and may we put love in action. I pray all of this in your name. Amen. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. Remember, go sign up for Reconnect with your spouse, and we'll see you next Tuesday for more Find Your People, Love Your People. Bye, guys.